King Charles III has made a decision. Apparently, it was his decision to veto the name of HMS Agincourt for the Royal Navy's newest submarine in favour of HMS Achilles. It sparked predictable outcry from certain political quarters, Grant Shapps. But let's be clear, this is not some exercise in woke revisionism, nor is it an erasure of British military history. It is quite simply a demonstration of diplomatic sensibility in an age where international cooperation is paramount. And the proposed name HMS Agincourt, honouring a battle fought over 6 centuries ago in which an outnumbered English army decisively defeated the French. It's a remarkable historical moment, yes, celebrated in Shakespeare, yes, but one that carries little contemporary relevance beyond nationalist chest thumping. And the Anglo-French alliance today is crucial to global security, NATO cooperation, the defence of Europe, and choosing a name of to name a high-profile new submarine after a battle synonymous with French humiliation was always going to be a questionable decision. And while critics like the former Defence Secretary Grant Shapps have branded the move sacrilege and woke nonsense, the decision is nothing of the sort. It's a pragmatic course correction, and the Royal Navy's naming conventions have long favoured continuity, and HMS Achilles, steeped in British naval tradition, fits comfortably with this tradition. Achilles, after all, has historical pedigree, having been borne by vessels with illustrious service records, including in the Battle of the River Plate during World War II. The claims that this decision represents a kowtowing to France are overblown. The French have made no public objection to the name Agincourt. Instead, it appears to have been a preemptive measure taken within Whitehall and the Royal Navy, reflecting modern diplomatic realities rather than some imagined cultural appeasement. If anything, it's a reflection of a maturing Britain, one that can balance its proud military heritage with present-day strategic priorities. There's also a precedent for name changes within the Royal Navy. Historically, ships have been renamed for a variety of reasons, and sometimes even to avoid unnecessary diplomatic friction. In 1939, for example, a Royal Navy corvette due to be named HMS Pansy was renamed HMS Heart's Ease, a less embarrassing choice given the name's cultural context. The idea that every ship must be a monument to historical battles, regardless of the implications, is simply not borne out by history. And the hysterical reaction from GB News and commentators reveals more about their desire to stoke cultural war than it does about any real loss of naval tradition. The practicalities of diplomacy, military cooperation, and national security far outweigh the emotional attachment to a few particular names. The Royal Navy will not suffer because a submarine is called Achilles rather than Agincourt. But Britain's ability to engage meaningfully with its allies might have been dented had the name that evokes Anglo-French enmity been stubbornly insisted upon. The real story is not one of wokeism, but of pragmatism and of sound common sense. The Royal Navy will still have an incredibly capable £1.5 billion Astute class submarine, and its name, while significant, doesn't alter its purpose. Doesn't alter its power, doesn't alter its prestige, and King Charles has demonstrated sound judgment in approving a name that acknowledges history without needlessly antagonising an important ally. That, rather than empty nostalgia for medieval battles, is what real leadership is about, Mr. Shapps. You know, for goodness sake, this is an absurdity, and Grant Shapps and GB News ought to wake up and start doing real work rather than prancing around with rhetorical flourishes that mean absolutely nothing.